Well, of course, there are 10 rules. We're not going to hit all of them. I've got to ask you, I'm sure a lot of folks ask about rule number 8.
Which is
Don't lie down with anything you don't want to live with forever.
You know why that rule is important? Because I don't know about South Carolina, but I know across the board, 70% of babies are born to unwed mothers. That's a lot of babies.
70% of all babies born are
70%
born to unwed mothers?
Unwed mothers.
Wow.
That's a lot of babies. And that chapter, I made it because I've seen it. And I always tell a little story. It's like you meet a girl at a party.
Right.
You have no connection to this person, but she looks good.
Yeah.
So you get together and a baby results. Okay, your thing is your parents are sending you away to college. So you go to school and you meet the girl of your dreams. But that baby and that other girl is still out there. And fast forward to maybe a Christmas vacation or something, and this baby is invited to whatever festivities. But at the end of the night, you're getting your children and your wife together to leave. And this baby is left, or this child is left at the window looking out because it doesn't have that place that it should have. It's just this baby that you left. And I don't think we think enough about that. And I've seen it in my family, not with my children, of course, but I've seen it enough to know that that's not a situation I would have wanted my children to do. So I've always believed that you raise boys the same way you raise girls. Now, my youngest was doing a radio show for a while called Speak Out, and they had the sex talk one Saturday. So I heard my child on the radio say, "Oh, my brother told me to get all I can get." Now, I never found out what brother said that because I would kill him. But anyway, then fast forward to the next question about what kind of woman you would want in your life. And the same child that said that said, well, my girlfriend would have to be this and she'd have to be that or whatever.
Right.
So that was a good teaching moment because when I got back to the studio, I stopped all the young boys and I said, okay, so your thing is that you can sleep with anybody you want to, but when you get ready to settle down, you want this pure, perfect young lady.
Chase.
Okay, but then what makes you deserving of that young woman?
Yeah. I bet you had some
So
silent boys there, yeah.
They never thought about
Yeah,
it. What are you
yeah.
bringing to her?
Right.
Now she's coming to you with a gift.
Yeah.
Well, what are you bringing?
Yes.
So we need to really let children know that it's a two-way thing,
Yes.
and you don't lie down with anything you don't want to be there forever.
Right. Golly, Rose. Well, that's powerful. That's powerful. We don't have much time. 25 minutes will blow by.
Okay.
Viewers do want to know, is there something else you're working on? Are there another book on the way? Is there anything in particular?
Well, there is a second book. Well, it's going to be 3 books, but the second book really follows Mama Rock's rules. Reason being, when I was in D.C. a few weeks ago, a woman raised her hand during the Q&A, and she talked about a 31-year-old son. And, you know, this has been happening a lot. And then one of the other things is the children that are out there that need to come home, children that are moving back home, and how do you deal with it, and children that are told they can't come home.
Right.
So there's a chapter in the new book that's called Home Should Always Be Home. And I tell it a little like a NASCAR race when the cars are going around and around and around, and they stop and they get the oil change or they get the tires redone. Our children are much like that. When they're out there, things happen that there are times when they really need to come home. But you come home with a plan. You can't just come back. I'm like Bill Cosby. You can't move back in. But you are welcome always to come home. But then we'll have to work together to get a plan to get you back out there.
Right.
But you need a safe place. I don't care if you're 25, if you're 55 and you have a mother. I know I still need my mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's tremendous. Home
should always
be home.
home.
And of course, for the children who do want to get back and aren't, and they're kind of bucking that plan, they're kind of fighting against the plan because
Yeah.
they can't imagine anything better than being with mom and dad or with mom or dad. There's probably a lot of that.
Yeah, there is, but then again, you have to have a time limit.
Right, right.
Yeah. Even with my children, I have my youngest is out there now. He's on the circuit trying to make a name in comedy. He's doing well. So my thing is, I will pay your rent for 2 years.
Yeah.
After the 2 years, you're on your own regardless.
Right.
You may have to go sleep on a couch at a friend's house or whatever, but you have 2 years on me.
Yes.
So after that 2 years, you either get into a 4-year college or you're on your own.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
He heard you loud and
I
clear.
think he
Yeah,
heard me.
Yeah, loud
Yeah.
and clear. That's tremendous. There is I'm going to go back to the rules again. Spirituality is not just for Sundays.
You know, we've gotten so far away from our spirituality and teaching our children not only who they are, but whose they are.
Right.
Because we're raising a nation of children that fear not, they don't fear man nor God. When we were growing up, we had that fear that God saw. So if mama didn't see, God saw. But now we raise children that don't know anything about spirituality. And if they don't have that, when things happen to them, they don't have anything to hold on to.
No.
So I think it's so important to give them that core value.
Mhm.
I don't care who you believe in, you need to believe that there is a higher power. You need to believe that you're accountable to someone and that your actions matter. And whenever they really reach that feeling that that's, you know, they have that core value, that's what sustains you. When things hit you or you fall, you always have that to grab onto.
Yes.
And it's not a Sunday thing. It should be an everyday thing.
That's
how we
tremendous.
treat people, how we just carry ourselves.
Well, I was thrilled to know there are things that, as you said, there are the opportunity for book number 2, book number 3 as well, and of course the excitement for you. I know you've got 7 children, as you said, pictured right here on the front, and knowing there's so many other children out there, and knowing the opportunity, upwards of 20 plus, the opportunity to connect with them all in different ways, to see for instance, one of the little things on that video blurb, the ROC justice system, was something you didn't talk much about in the book, but is very important.
Yes, it is. And the thing is that children are responsible. You are your brother's keeper.
Right, right.
So the oldest, if you're in charge, you're in charge. If something happens, you are responsible. So even if the next person got in trouble, you're in trouble
Yeah,
because you should have been watching out.
yes.
Yeah.
Would you swap the opportunity to parent all these children for anything, Rose? I mean, if let's say you could have invented the most amazing thing that ever hit the planet.
I think I did invent the most
Ah.
amazing thing. My family is the most amazing thing. And when I see them, or just, I was home this weekend, and just to see a son that has grown into such a magnificent man and father and husband, yeah, I did something amazing. If I don't do, it's not about money, it's not about any of that stuff. It's leaving something behind, I guess, you know, a legacy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, that
Yeah.
then you did create the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. As you think back of your children, most of them were raised in one particular area. How many of them have stayed in that area? They have
Well, you know,
made that.
oh no, they're all over.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, Chris wanted to stay in Brooklyn, of course, because that's where our heart is. But once he had the girls, they moved out to New Jersey in the country.
Yes.
Tony lives in LA because his show is in LA. I have to count them.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You got to be careful. That's
Oh
right.
yeah, because I don't want to miss anybody. Andre has a trucking company. He lives in Pennsylvania. Brian works for Autotraders.com. He's also a minister. He lives in Atlanta.
Wow.
Kenny works for Scholastics. He lives in Brooklyn. Oh, my daughter. I
Yeah,
have one
yeah,
daughter.
be careful.
She lives in Rock Hill. She went to Winthrop and she decided to stay. She works in Charlotte, but she lives in Rock Hill. And then my youngest just moved to New York 2 years ago. He graduated from Waccamaw,
Right.
and he's a comedian. And then my daughters, my 3 others, my daughter Allison is a professor at Grove City University.
Great.
My daughter Ann lives in Bermuda, and she is the school psychologist.
Wow.
And my stepson, I lost him about 3 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But he
Rose.
was
Wow.
the first. He was the first black junior executives for Collins and Ackman.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Congratulations
Yeah,
for
so
that
that's my
achievement at the very
10.
least. And to see they're really all spread out in the
Yeah, they
cities,
are
Atlanta
spread
on the
out,
West
yeah.
Coast, 3 have ended up back in New York,
Yeah.
and the excitement there for you to get back home, not just to see one,
Yeah.
but to see 3 and some grandkids must be wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. And on Christmas, we all gather on Litchfield.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Down
every
here.
Christmas,
So Georgetown
yeah.
County is well recognized in the whole
Yeah.
picture. Thank you so much for being with us
Thank
this morning,
you.
Rose.
This is
Sorry
wonderful.
we've run out of time.
Okay.
Mama Rocks Rules is the book. Stay tuned for a little more with Rose Rock coming up next. How did Rose and her husband pull off that tremendous feat of raising so many children so well? You heard one of her sons say it with a little love, a lot of understanding, and a good belt. You know, that image may not connect with a lot of people, but ask the child of a parent who believed in raising them with a good belt or a rod of correction, and you'll know what it means. The book is Mama Rocks Rules. Go into any local bookstore, any bookstore you can find, or go online to Amazon.com and many other locations. You can track down a copy. The excitement is it's not just this one. There's another one on the way and another one right behind it. And there's some great phrases. If you take the time to get a copy of this one, whether it's push, unable, off the table, parenting should be a calling, or one of my favorites, stopping and listening. I know we didn't have a chance to go into it with Rose here today, but take the time to pick up the book. You'll understand what it's all about, stopping and listening. I hope you took the time this morning. Rose, thanks so much for being with us again.
Thank you so much for having me.